Done a little bit more there, but either way, it was a great way to respond.
No question.
All right, well, let's introduce our players here. Up in the top northwest corner as the Red Zerg. He starts his momentum off with a win in game number 1, but he's got to win against Violet twice here. It is TSL Symbol. And here in the southeast position as the Blue Zerg from Team Empire, going to try to bring it back, it is Violet.
And I really did like Violet's, I like the idea behind the Nidus Worm.
Did you like the idea of placing the Nidus Worm directly underneath 2 Overlords?
No, that's what I didn't like. And
Okay.
the other thing I didn't like is the position that he was putting Symbol in was pretty close to the Nidus Worm. Imagine if he was on the other side of the map and trying to come around the third base instead of in the middle there. I think that will, of course, naturally bring Symbol up north to defend his third base, and then I think it would have been a bit more effective because the distance for a Symbol to get from the middle of the map, where that Xel'Naga tower, to the side of his base is actually really short, which is why the Nidus Worm couldn't actually come into play there. But it was a cute, little nice idea, I think.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if you've ever got a chance to watch Violet stream, he's had some really, really creative use of the Nidus network. And, you know, when you're dealing with such an intense and, you know, trying to stay balanced with your opponent in ZVZ, you can't necessarily do some of the same trickery that he likes to do that's won him a lot of games, which is, for example, throwing down 2 Nidus networks and then doing kind of what you're talking about, but separating out, almost baiting his opponent with those roaches with the Nidus network in the main, but then throwing one up to the third, and that's really where the real target is. But that's a big, big gas investment there. And so I think that Violet was still in the mindset of, my opponent put me behind. I'm going to take some risks, right? I'm going to take a few risks. They may not pay off, but, you know, he got me good. And this is what I'm going to try to do to bring this back in my favor.
And Symbol's gone for one of the fastest speed builds there are, with keeping 1 guy in the extractor. It was a 13 extractor, 12 spawning pool. That's pretty fast, considering against Stefano he was using 14 and 13, which is still pretty damn good here. And Violet has gone hatchery first here, then spawning pool extractor, so he will have Queen and Lings out at a decent time to defend, but he's not really going to have speed of his own here. So very interested to see how this is going to come down. Of course, right now, in the position that Symbol's in, he has to do damage. He has to kill drones. He has to do something. Because naturally, with a hatchery first, you get the extra Queen, you get the extra Lava Inject, and you have a stronger mid-game. But Symbol has a stronger early game, and he's about to hit 50 gas.
Interesting. So the Baneling Nest goes down, but, you know, how much, with the vision being gone, is Violet impaired, right? He sees the expansion, so it appears, you know, okay, it was a later expansion. He probably did go gas pool, but he does not know how early yet.
Yeah, I mean, he knows his opponent's gone gas pool, so he knows his opponent's going to have speed way before he does. He knows his opponent can get Banelings way before he does. There's the Banelings now coming down, but there's the reaction. The immediate construction of the Spine Crawl. He's also going to have to get the Baneling Nest as soon as he hits 50 gas. If he delays it by any sense, he will fall behind and could potentially lose. The Overlord is just about going to escape there, and that could have hurt him a lot. As soon as he hits 50 gas, the Baneling Nest comes down, and he has to rush to get these Banelings out because he's about to feel the heat of this final.
And I mean, honestly, there is going to be this very, very tiny window, and right now there's actually no Lings in production. It's just these 2 that are heading out. Not sure exactly what his plan is going to be to try to maximize damage with just the 2, and we're not seeing a huge flux of Lings by any means. He is waiting for an Overlord to finish up, which will put him well over his supply. And, well, the Baneling Nest is done. We see these 2 Banelings morphing in over in the corner, which is great. He's going to have a follow-up to this. Like, is he still going to be behind economically?
Well, what he was trying to do there, he went in, he saw 4 defensive Lings and a Spine Crawler, so he knew that he was going to face a hard time here. So he's like, screw it, I'll try 2 Banelings. And as I say try, I mean try. Did not succeed, but Symbol didn't invest too much into that. He just went 2 Banelings and then was droning behind, but his attack, like I said, he had to do damage. He didn't do damage, and now the game is kind of equalized, but there are 3 drones more currently for Violet, as he also has more Lings, and Symbol has to defend now.
And I mean, here's where those 2 defensive banelings are going to be huge. He's going to morph in a couple of banelings of his own. There are 4 there. And Symbol may actually just extend a little bit. He sees the banelings there himself. And this could be a pretty crucial, double baneling hit right here. He does bring that 1 Zergling back to the Spine Crawler. He's got 4 gases up, a quick lair, and he's going to get some drones.
Oh, 4 drones immediately killed. And is he going to get more? 2 more. I think that was 6 in total. There it is. 6 go down. And especially because Symbol's in transition to lair. He's in transition of taking all 4 gases. And if you kill 6 drones, those are the guys that were meant to be in the gases.
Right.
So now he's mining less from minerals, and if you look at what Violet's doing, he has a 3rd base. He has a Roach Warren down. Granted, he's got a lot later Spire, but Violet, upon Symbol not doing damage early on, and then stretching his advantage further with that Baneling hit, is in great shape.
And he will immediately throw down the Infestation Pit to try to get that going. And he will have a slight advantage there, you know. It could be possible that will help him. But I think the biggest deal is that 3rd base being up for Violet. That could give him such a remarkable advantage at this point. Right now, the drones are about even. Violet does have about a 5 Harvester lead over his opponent. I think that Violet's well aware of exactly where Symbol is at. He knows he has that pretty early lair. He's definitely going to know once this Overseer comes into play. But this 3rd base being up, the larvae he gets from it, the additional income that he's going to get from it. Here we see the 3rd finally going down for Symbol, but that is a pretty large discrepancy between the 2. You know, go for tech instead of the 3rd. Question is will that tech allow him to defend whatever Violet's going to throw at him next?
And Violet has an Overseer going into the main base and now knows that that's an Infestation Pit, not a Spy. He wasn't quite sure, but now he knows he doesn't build Spore Crawlers, and he'll just continue to either destroy the 3rd base, which he knows is down, or he can just drone up heavily behind. The choice is his at this current point. And he does have Roaches towards that 3rd base, so he's going to try and do damage. And there are 8 Roaches about to pop, but with 4 Roaches and 2 Banelings, he may be able to target down the hatchery before the 8 slow Roaches off Symbol get there.
He's really, I mean, this is going to be difficult. Here come the Roaches. He's going to immediately target those Banelings. Oh my gosh, he's not going to, okay, here we go. He's just waiting for the right amount of units. He brings in a couple of Lings, and he will save that 3rd. And, you know, Violet will lose these Roaches, microing back each individual Roach. Nice job. Good retention here from Symbol. He keeps all of them alive. Some Zerglings are going to head into the main. No more defensive Banelings are there. He might be able to snipe a Queen, and that Queen is going to get hit. She quickly runs back to those Roaches. The Zerglings will go ahead and retarget some units here, and he go after drones, but not a big attack, or not big results coming out of that attack from Violet.
And because Violet had a faster 3rd base, he had better saturation faster, he can afford more things.
Sure.
He now has a 2nd evolution chamber working on 1-1. He also has, very strangely, Ventral Sacs coming into play here, and he's adding on 3 or 4 Spine Crawlers to his 3rd base to fortify that. So very interested to see what his plan is here with this Ventral Sac play. Both of them are going for Infestors at the same time here, but with Ventral Sacs here, I have absolutely no idea what he's going to do with it. I'm not going to lie there, because he's in such a good position economically. But, I mean, is he going to try and use Infestors in them? Is he going to try and use Hit Squad Infestors to bring down the economy of Symbol while defending with Spine Crawlers? I think that may be his option.
Yeah, either way, it's going to be really, really interesting to see which way he will go. I think all of those options are absolutely something he could go for. He could, you know, even throw some Banelings in there. I mean, I think he wants to reserve his gas mostly for the Infestor Roach army that he's got going on here. Here comes the Spine Crawler wall, and that will give him a little defense and a little freedom to do something with those Ventral Sacs. Now we have the Overlord speed going out, and based off of the timing, I do like that. So, I mean, the Overlord speed is not going to finish exactly with Ventral Sacs, but it will be close. So he spends that gas very wisely.
I think this is a very nice tactic. Changeling actually saw all the Spine Crawlers there, remember, too. Very excited to see how this is going to work for Violet. And remember, the rocks can easily be broken down on his 3rd base. There is a 4th base there, and look at their MLG stats. Symbol beats 3 GSL finalists on his way to qualifying for this tournament, MMA, Lucira, and Pult. And then he also, I mean, well, that in itself is just a great feat.
Right. And, you know, there's a few names on that list that also just amazing wins that he got. Now, here comes a large push from Symbol, and this is the one thing that could kind of negate some of those upgrades. Great surround on those roaches moving forward. And, you know, if he doesn't have, oh, hold on, here we do have 8 roaches loaded up in these 2 overlords
And
going up to the northeast side.
Well. There's the 4 overlords in total, 16 roaches going out now, but he's trying to build spine crawlers to defend his third base. That's the weakness of this strategy, I could feel, is that if these rocks goes down, he doesn't have any spine crawlers up in the high ground, DJ Weed.
No, he's starting to build 3 more, 2 more coming into Burrow, but he could also move back around. Those spines are going to get up in perfect time, and I don't think he can attack here. Here come the overlords, spotted by that north expansion, and we also have a denial of this third as the Hydras do come out. The Hydras cannot engage with these roaches quite yet. Actually, he might go ahead and give it a shot. He just wants to try to save this third, and if the third goes down, that could be huge, Apollo.
Is he going to get it here? Is he going to get it? The Hydras and Queens and drones, everything. No, it's going to go down, and great win while having the drop in the main base, targeting down the layer, while fortifying us, you know, his position at home. He's got 2-2 upgrades on the way. Violet with this 1-2 maneuver. Oh my God, what a great tactic he's pulling out in map number 2.
Now, he is going to do a lot of damage. He does pick up, and oh my gosh, he retains all 8 of those roaches. He's now attacking the 4th as well. There's no drones there, but if he gets rid of the hatchery, he's going to basically be on a 2-base situation, and this might just force a flat-out attack from Symbol, force all this back, maybe even a base trade situation, as Violet's going to send those 8 roaches back into the main of Symbol. But there are a few roaches here to defend. Just not a whole lot.
Yeah, get behind that spine crawler wall now, Violet, before you lose everything out in the open. You do not have the army side, but he does have the defensive posture. Spine crawlers, Queens, you name it, he's got it. Let's see how he's going to hold on to this.
And here we go. The infested Terrans go out. No Fungals coming out from Violet quite yet. No Fungals going down. There the Fungals start to go down a little bit here from Symbol. He throws a few down, but the infested Terrans are really needed to not only to shield him from the damage from those spines, but also to kind of move forward. He's going to now go for that third. A few Banelings there not doing a whole lot of damage, and now the drones will be pulled, but a lot of spine crawlers still there. He picks up the drones and the overlords to save those, and he will lose quite a few units in trying to take out these spine crawlers, but the damage is being done inside of his opponent's base as well. There's just action all over the map.
But the thing is now, Violet says, all right, cool, you got my third base, you broke the line, but come into my main, come up that ramp, I dare you. I have 2 infestors there, I can easily chain you and lock you down. Remember the upgrades, how heavy they are for Violet. They were 2-1 versus just a simple 1-0 there, and he's now got 2-2. He's working on 3-2, and he's ripped apart the infrastructure of Symbol while still holding 170 supply. This is just an absolutely great display from Violet.
I am so impressed with Violet. I mean, his reactions, and people like to talk about the fact that Violet is such an amazing mind. That's why he's able to, you know, achieve and what he's been able to achieve. The pickup of the drones, sending them up, dropping one off, building a hatchery away from the danger. Just so many proper decisions here by Violet, and he is now pushing forward for potentially a game-winning push here.
Yeah, absolutely. 2-2 upgrades still versus 1-0. Completely outclassed. They have shields, they have swords, they have hands. Wow, man. What a great, great victory versus Symbol there. And Violet says, well, yeah, you can take Daybreak, but I'm going to absolutely destroy you on Antigua Shipyard.
I mean, so refreshing to see a mix-up of, you know, of strategies and of tech that's not just infestors and roaches. But guys, what'd you think about that one?
Well, you know, I was sitting here with Total Biscuit. We watched these 2 sets of roach drops.
We were giggling.
We were like, what is this? Why wouldn't he just walk his roaches over there? Anyways, I mean, with the drops he's sending, the roaches could actually just walk over there. And then I feel like it was creative. It was cool. He dropped in several different locations to kill these hatcheries. but it was more so not Violet's strength, but Symbol's weakness. To that, how did he lose this many hatcheries? How did he fail to defend those? The hatchery at the top right, okay, I give him that. I mean, it's way far away. It's kind of a weird hatchery for him to take, very hard for him to defend. But there's no way he should lose his lair on the main base. That's unacceptable.
Well, what about the third, though? I mean, it seemed like he really hesitated, like he was hoping maybe a few more units get out, but then he went in with everything anyway. I feel like there was an opportunity to save that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it was really creative by Violet, and I like that. But it was just a little bit of an oversight to not save all those bases. And then it was, like you said, he forced him to attack. I mean, he had to attack at that point, and then he was already prepared. So it was like a two-step process: force the attack, and then be prepared for the attack.
Ridiculously smart, honestly, from Violet.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we've already seen that in this series already in Zerg versus Zerg. What else can we see as we go forward here?
Well, with that strategy, it wasn't actually designed to go that well. That actually went amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I could see it start to unfold. All he really wanted to do there was just drop, pick off drones, pick up, leave. Come back in, pick off drones, pick up, leave. While maintaining his own 3 bases, maintaining these double upgrades, and then just going to finish the game while he's at 2-2 and his opponent's struggling for money.
Right. Well, let's take a look at the NOS performance replay of those drops that took place here in game number 2. Here we see the drops coming in from the third. Initially, the 8 roaches are sent down. You can see that there's absolutely nothing there
and look
to
at
defend
the
that.
minimap too. Like, look where his units are. They're actually on the Xel'Naga Tower racing to get back, and that's probably why he couldn't actually defend. There they are. And he's like, what? How is... Oh, God. And now he's losing everything.
And he split everything. Of course, over at the third, let's check that out, too, because this is exactly the moment where he went into attack, and already, I mean, he did have a few extra Hydras, so he did wait for a couple Hydras.
I was being a little bit critical, perhaps, then. I mean, he sent them back as soon as he heard, basically, but it wasn't enough. Then he didn't have enough to defend his main either, so he loses that one. Losing this hatchery is the hatchery where I'm like, oh, of course he wasn't going to be able to defend this one. But, you know, I think he could have... Well, I just don't know, man. It's crazy that this happened. It was kind of lucky, but how could he have defended better?
Don't you think if Violet would have just chosen one location, I think that this might have actually been not as big of an impact as it was. Yeah, I don't mean like all 16 in one location, but if he would have just chosen to go with 8, I think going to the third and the main was essential for making that work.
But of course, we all saw the game from everybody's perspective, right? You have to think now, what was going through Symbol's mind? He saw the spine crawlers. Why? Why were those there? And then you ask the second question, why was he out so far? And I'll talk about that in a second. As you can see now, this is where he was kind of forced in. And the use of the Infestitarians, Hydras actually made the big difference alongside the Infestitarians hand in hand. And that was pretty close. I mean, losing the front, I was actually getting worried a little bit there for Violet.
Yeah, just actually spot something we didn't spot the first time around was that beautiful micro there just to get the Infestors out of there. Even though there's so many Infestitarians, a great focus fire by Symbol.
Yeah.
One thing, though, that I was talking about a little bit briefly there is that, you know, the thought process of Symbol. When you see a spine crawler wall like that, do you automatically, in any Zerg player out there, do you think you're about to be dropped to eventual sacks? Do you honestly believe that?
No. No. You know, which is so funny, right? Because we just saw Symbol use that sort of unique ventral sack strategy versus MC. Obviously not the same matchup, but... you know, I guarantee you, we will see a future game with Symbol where he utilizes that strat.
I mean, when you see that, you must think Hive is coming, and that's probably the reason why his units are out there. He's like, I'm going to bust this. I'm ready. Let's do it. You go on Hive, you're trying to get Greater Spy, you're trying to go Ultralisks, but that's why he was caught out of position. And well, you know, that one strategy by Violet totally catching him off guard.
I'll tell you what, Apollo, it's games like that really, really get me excited because I feel like that is a strategy that will suddenly be injected into the ladder. Then that's going to change different things like, do I need to leave at least an Infestor back home to be able to fungal